Okay. Um, Trade recap, right? I have a little trade recap. First trade of June. First trade of June. I'd say decent, decent trade, right? Not too bad in terms of how it aligned, right? We had a 15-minute break of structure, right? 15-minute break of structure, and then the internal was bullish as well. So obviously you just be looking to follow the internal, as on the 4 hour there was also no significant mitigation to the left, right? So I was happy looking for the continuation, okay. So it's early in the morning, not early, like 9:30, just 30 minutes before London, which I'd still take trades like an hour before London, which would be 9 a.m. for me, right? So you're bullish on the M50, the internal is bullish, so you're just looking to play the internal again. Now, in terms of the setup, we have the sweep right there of the Asian low. Let's use M50, right? Sweep Asian low, convincing close about here. You have the convincing close, and then POI wise, I guess it's where it was a little bit iffy, I'd say, because this is the real POI, right? The real POI right there. Even though this did come back and mitigate, but it wasn't like a mitigation where it moved away, created a internal high, like internal of the internal high, and then came back like it did here. It was just a move in close proximity, right? So this mitigation, I wouldn't be too worried about it, hence I was still comfortable taking the trade right there. And then yeah, you had your setup on the M5, right? Swept this liquidity and then immediately starts to move up, even though you had this huge bearish candle. Didn't mind that because of like the alignment with the swing and the internal. Like even though it was a phase 2A, which is like still playing bullish after a break of structure, right, where you would typically start to look for the sells, but it was setting up okay, in an okay manner, right? So I did take this and we took a loss on that. No biggie. I wouldn't say it was a bad trade. I think it was okay, right? If I had to rank it on probabilities, yeah, 50-50, I guess. It was just okay. Not bad, not high probability as well, because after a break of structure, we do start to expect the pullback, right? And on Monday, I had this one LPOI marked out here. I had the expectation that before, like, while it was still here Monday, maybe it comes back in here and then we move, right? But it did not do that. And during New York, it did come into this 1 hour POI, but I was looking for the break of this high first before I look to start looking for buys again, and we did not get that. And so pretty much for the rest of the session I was sitting on my hands as per usual. But going forward for tomorrow's London session, will we get a deeper mitigation and then more bullish plays? We shall see, but I am bullish on this following the 15-minute swing, and the 4 hour is bearish. Ooh. Let's do the top-down analysis right here. Okay, we have the 4 hour bearish came back in here. Remember, 4 hour switches bearish to facilitate the daily pullback. Daily pulls back into this daily zone. We start to see it moving more bullish, right? So that's a good sign, right? We also have this internal break of structure. If I can get to it, we have this 4 hour internal break of structure, which means the 4 hour internal is showing signs of being heavily bullish, right? So we would look for 4 hour continuations. There is no good 4 hour POI except this wick here, so this 1 hour is a decent place to continue from, right? So in terms of the M15, I would like to see probably this high go before. This would be like the closest in terms of internal structure. A shift in that could now start to mean the 15-minute continues bullish. So for now we'll just be waiting for that and see if this 15 swing high will go, right? And might as well add in end of day analysis instead of 2 videos. Just make it one, because also the trade recap was not that long, right? The most complicated pair out of all my pairs right now is still Euro JPY. Still a fucking mess, to be fair. But if you laser and focus in on this current price action, the internal 4 hour is bullish, right? We've come down, swept the low, so we expect this high to go. And as of now, we have swept this low over here, and we've had a chalk over here, even on this internal, but a chalk over there as well. So your JPY, I would be looking for the bullish plays, right? Even though currently we are bearish with that, but as you can see, the swing low failed to break twice, right? Failed to break. We even had a liquidity sweep there, which is good for bullish plays. And in terms of following the M15, the first POI is all the way down here, and it's so tiny. Would you really expect a move to come in here and sharply move up? Yes, the market could do that, but realistically it probably would look something like this, where it comes down, maybe sweeps that, and then starts to show signs of bullishness, and then we'd look for something like that. So Euro JPY conclusion, still looking for bullish plays, just waiting for better price action to get a better idea of where we shall be going. And GBP USD daily mitigation, 4 hour extreme mitigation right there. So, and this internal is bullish, so expectations would be for the swing high to go, but will we mitigate this 4 hour before or not is the question. And then on the M15 we are bullish, right? And the swing, excuse me, swing low is right there. And for the internal, gonna have up, down, close. That would be an internal. Is this enough of a move to be considered the internal? Depending on how you look at it, you could consider this an IBOS, right? Internal break, which would in turn mean this is an internal break. Sort of the idea that I had during New York session today. but because of the large 15-minute POI, it just makes it harder to execute. It's a very big zone, so probably wait for something like maybe deeper mitigation in here, and then maybe a strong liquidation and then a break up. But in conclusion, maybe something like that, right? Boom, something like that. But in conclusion, we would be bullish on GPUSD as well, following this M15 structure. Following the M15, all my time frames are lined daily, 4 hour and 15 are bullish, so bullish plays would be the highest probability. So we will be looking for buys on GU as well. And last but not least, we had USD CAD. Okay, context, start on the 4 hour before I touch on that little trade over there. 4 hour is bearish, right? 4 we had a break of structure, pullback, and now we expect this swing low to go. But on the 4 hour, it swept liquidity, started moving up, which is a sign that the swing low may hold, or it's just a fake out for breakout traders, right? Sweep them, and then those who play the bullish after the sweep them again before it goes low. You never really know what's gonna happen, but in terms of what you do have, you have a sweep of the low, right, which could mean the swing low will hold. What that looks like on the M15, it was a break on the M15, right, and then it goes up, break of structure, which means the M15 is bullish. M15 is bullish, and so this I did not take this, by the way. I just spotted it after it happened, and as I was just looking through the price action, I was not really focused during the session, so I spotted this after. Had I seen this before, this would have been a valid trade, right? This would have been valid and currently running at whatever this is, almost break even. So a breakdown of it would be, you have a 15-minute bounce right after the break of structure. Expectation is for the pullback, right? Swing pullback before the continuation. And so what is a good sign of the pullback starting? Internal break of structure, which we do have here, and then we have the POI right here, because both candles get engulfed, you can use both of them. You had 15-minute liquidity get swept right here, 15-minute liquidity sweep, which means you have a valid entry on this M5 candle. LC1 trade, you would have been in there. There would have been no moving the stop loss to break even, because to move your stop loss to break even, you would have to have, let's say this point is here, you have to have it move up and then break the low, right? And then you know that this is a protected high, therefore you can move your stop loss above this protected high, because if the market does end up breaking a protected high, the trade will most likely run into a loss, right? So because you did not have that here, then this trade would still be open, so risk would still be there. And before I record it into like the good setup section, I just want to see how it plays out first and then record it there, whether it's a win or a loss. But it is a good setup, because this is the place you want to be selling, counter your swing, which is still at the start of the swing pullback. So this is also a good trade. Unfortunate that I didn't see it, right? Hence the emphasis on focus during the sessions. And so yeah, we'll see how it runs. But in terms of the larger expectations, I'd expect this to be bullish, right? Maybe we come down lower into here, whatever the case may be, and then a continuation, and then a continuation of with the strong swing no holding. And so yeah, we'll see tomorrow during London what happens, and then just take it from there. Peace.